a struggle that we actually came up with our own publishing company, which will be launched soon. We have Nurani Publishing, and it's for authors out there who want to get into the field but have a difficulty or a difficult time getting their foot in the door. So we want to provide that platform where they could come in. They don't have to pay anything, to get the book published. Obviously, if there's different services like editing, things of that nature, we charge. But for the most part, everything will be free. So if anybody out there wants to publish a book and is interested in it, they can, within the next month or so, if they Google Nurani Publishing, they'll find it fairly easily. And that's what we want to do for everyone.
Okay, so that's been what I understand is that now you will be entering into another venture of being a publisher.
Yes.
Okay, and besides that, your future, but like, what are you doing nowadays besides writing the books?
Writing movie scripts. Of course, like I mentioned, the publishing company. Also, trying to get back into school. I'll hopefully do my master's soon. But we'll see. We're looking into different things on what to do to take the right steps to follow the rest of my career. We're also in the process of hiring publicists for this book, so I could go around doing book signings. We've done a book signing already. We've talked at universities to teach the book in the school. So things are progressing forward with this book in particular. And once this is a little bit more established, I think it'll be easier to publicize the rest of the books that I'm in the process of writing.
So, so basically, what inspires you? What field of society you would like to point out in your books? Like, is it going to be a comedy or a serious topics or?
Well, all the different books that I want to write are very different in topic. They're all thrillers, but this one has to do with the business world. But the thing about this book in particular, it's difficult to pinpoint what the subject is because there's so much going on. Because what it really talks about is human life, and in your life, you own a business, and then you go home and you have a family. So it's not a family book, but it's not a business book, right? So, and then you have like lovers, and then you have your relationship with God. So even though it talks about your relationship with God, it's not a religious book. So it covers all of the human aspect of how people live. So this book is very particular to human beings and interactions. Other books, like my second book, is a scientific thriller, so a science fiction thriller. And then hopefully the book after that will be a psychological thriller. There's a religious book that I'm in the process of researching and writing it, but it's more about, the time before and when we read in the Bible, Quran, what happened with the devil and the angels and how they interacted. I'm writing a book on that, and hopefully that will be my life's work. But that's later on. So all the books have a different theme to it, and I want to write that so it pertains to different aspects of each person's life. It's difficult to stay, for me at least, to stay in one subject and continue on, because for me that's boring.
Okay, Farhan, what is bothering me right now is like writing a book is one thing, and then finding the readership, like who's going to read it, and you have to find like something credible. Like credibility is another important thing. Like for example, if I have a background of Air Force and fighting aircraft and all that, and I start writing a book on let's say business, who's going to read my book? Because they will not find me credible enough to write something on something which I have no experience of, or I'm not qualified for myself. So when you write like books on different topics, so how you'll find your readers confident enough to accept your thought, or why somebody should read a book of a person, as I gave you an example, just a very odd example. So how you take that point?
Well, the first book has a lot to do with business, and I do have a business background. I have a business degree from DePaul, and I worked in the corporate world for a little bit. So this was my step in on how to, or what to write about. But from what you're saying and what I'm doing is a little bit different. You're saying that if I have a business background, like how can I write something on science, or how can I write something on religion, or psychology and be credible for that. And what you need to understand, or the reader should understand, is I'm not writing a science book, or I'm not writing a psychology book. They're not textbooks. They're novels that have to do with these subjects. So anyone could like look up on the internet and figure these things out. It's just research, but the main aspect of the book is the storyline. And I'm a novelist, not a scientist or not a psychologist.
So basically, you want to say that this is we should take it, all your books, as fiction?
Yes, absolutely, but fiction based in truth. So I do research. It's not that I'm making up the psychological aspects. I'm not making up the religious or the business aspects of it. I do my research, especially for this book. It took 6 months just to do the legal research to understand law cases and how it works together. And my father can attest to it. We used to talk about it. He used to want me to go to like court just to see how legal cases were hashed out, how the judge acts, like what happens when a prosecutor stands up, what happens, what does the witness look like, the person who's being prosecuted, what do they look like when someone says something. So there's a lot of research done into it, but it wouldn't make me a lawyer. But I do know what I'm talking about because I've spent so much time researching it. So it's not that simple. I'm sorry.
Nazrin, like what Farhan is saying is very interesting, and he has his own point of view, which has, and I think he has a great point in it, what he is saying. So we'll talk more about his thinking and how he is writing the books, and as he said that he has more about 10 books in pipeline. We'll talk more about that. We'll go for a short break, and once we come after the break, we'll talk more about it. Stay with us.
An online boutique for custom-made ladies' dresses. Find RQ Fashions on Facebook or contact us on 9232